Daiquiri, darling, come with me. We'll take you to the place that you want to be. Daiquiri, liquid alchemy. Seconds feel like hours, sitting in the flowers. Be patient, be patient.
Finally got here. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning for some people, like if you're in Singapore. Good morning to the world. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, this evening, this morning, then whenever, for Daiquiri O'Clock. That's the unofficial name for today's talk and discussion and presentation. We call it Daiquiri O'Clock because the daiquiri is probably one of the greatest drinks in the history of the world. And there isn't a single bartender on the planet that could disagree, unless they're vodka lovers, but that's for, we'll say that for another day. But yes, the daiquiri is one of those quintessentially drinks of the Caribbean. It's simple, it's like the rum trinity, rum, lime, and sugar, and that's it. Or some people might say rum, a citrus, and a sweetener. But that's the point of today. Everyone, all these illustrious guests that we have from all over the world that could be doing things more important, like watching, I know, America's Next Top Bartender. Is there a TV show called America's Top Bartender?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. There should be. Well, they could be here in the UK watching, I don't know, EastEnders. Is that on today? I'm not sure. They could be doing something else, but they're here to discuss their favorite drink with you guys out there. And hopefully you have some great questions at the end of this. Share some ideas, because this is all about sharing, especially in this lockdown period that we have. This is all about sharing. Speaking of sharing, I'm actually going to share my favorite daiquiri with you guys out there to start the ball rolling, because we've got some heavyweights, heavyweight bartenders, heavyweight mixologists, heavyweight cocktailians. I'm going to talk about their favorite way of making a daiquiri, what the daiquiri means to them, the inspiration. Maybe you might even have a few rare daiquiris. But when I make a daiquiri, I always like to give my daiquiris a little twist, because I feel that the daiquiri, again, really showcases the style of rum, which is why I don't really vary my recipes as such, because I want to showcase the rum. If it's a sweetened rum, it'll be a sweetened daiquiri. If it's a drier rum, it'll be a drier daiquiri as such. But I pretty much stay on the same ingredients. But I also like to add a couple of other little things inside there, just to give it a little twist. One of my favorite daiquiris, actually, if you're out there in Barbados, is the Gale Seal Daiquiri. I normally use products like this: a Bajan rum, some Lurnham, Roast Lurnham, and some Angostura bitters with the lime and sugar, of course. But no, we're not going to make the Gale Seal Daiquiri today. I'm going to make the Burrell Daiquiri. I have no idea why it's called the Burrell Daiquiri. Maybe it's because of Burrell. Yeah, that's the reason why. But yes, I'm going to make the Burrell Daiquiri. It's very, very simple. Very simple. So again, start off with the rum. The sound of a rum coming out of a bottle. And I'm just going to put 2 measures of rum. Don't worry, who was that?
Not just any rum. Not just any rum. It's a great rum. What you pour
I thought I'd use the Equiano, the world's first African-Caribbean rum. Yeah, I thought I'd do that. So yeah. 50 mils of the Equiano. And then, of course, because I always like to stay to the same recipe, I've used 50 mils or 2 ounces for you guys in the States. Just a little bit more. 2 ounces. I'm going to use 1 ounce of fresh lime juice. Now, I haven't been like, because I do a TV every now and again, I have my stuff prepared. So I've actually got, hey, Alex, nice of you to join us, Alex. Yeah,
hey, man, I was the first one here, bro.
So I'm going to use 25 mils or 1 ounce of fresh lime juice I prepared earlier. And then half the measure of lime with some simple syrup. I'm keeping it nice and simple. No, I won't keep it simple. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give it a twist. I'm going to give it that Burrell twist, because that's what I'm making a Burrell daiquiri. I'm actually going to use agave. And the reason why I'm using agave is because I'm paying homage to Julio, the Tommy's Daiquiri out in San Francisco. Plus mine Cate is here, and I want him to get a little bit jealous that I'm mentioning Julio's bar, Tommy's, instead of Smuggler's Cove. So I'm just going to use 12.5 mils of agave nectar, blue agave nectar, 100% real stuff. And then 3 dashes of orange bitters, because who doesn't like a little bitter in their daiquiri? A bit of orange notes. And for you observant people out there, especially if you've been to Cuba quite a lot, Julio, you'd see a little bit of similarity with the orange and lime flavor notes of daiquiri #2 from Florida, but it has that inspiration of orange notes. Actually has a bit of orange, I think a bar spoon of fresh orange inside there, and some orange curacao. But hey, orange and lime and a daiquiri is just perfect. It's even orgasmic. Can you say orgasmic? Hey, don't matter. Kids not watching. It's over 21. You had to press over 21 to actually get into this. So just give that a good shake.
Blue shake.
I'm clapping right now.
We're
all clapping right now, Ian.
I'm trying to keep up with Jillian, you know what I mean? All this hard shaking stuff. It's hard work. Right. Oh, open. And beautiful. Oh, look at that. Elegant drink. My God, I forgot the flaring.
Bye.
Fly in house.
Oh, man. And then let me have a sip of it. Oh, my goodness.
Salud, salud.
Oh, Burrell daiquiri. Because I know some of you say, that can't be a daiquiri. You use agave instead of sugar. You put orange inside there, but why can't it be a daiquiri? Hey, it should be like part of the daiquiri family. It's not like the martini type family thing where it's just about the martini glass. This has still got elements of rum, an elegant rum. Still got the sweetness, but I've used agave instead of sugar. It's got still the citrus from the lime, but I've added a little bit of the orange notes inside there from the bitters. And a lot of love, which is the most important thing. I personally feel you should have a daiquiri. Love! Love! I want to see from you guys out there. So that's enough of me. I think I have my 3 minutes, because everyone here is going to get 3 minutes. I'm actually going to cut people off. If they talk too much, I'm going to mute them. But some of them like to talk, and you've seen some of these people live on stage in their bars, and they love to talk, but they do love to talk about drinks, which is a good thing. So we're going to start off with the guy that's actually in the latest time zone, or the earliest time zone, to talk about his daiquiris. Jesse! Jesse! All the way in Singapore. It's about what? Takes about 10 past 1 in Singapore, is it, Jesse?
11 past 1. Oh, you're close.
11 past 1. Wow, man, you're up for the cause. You're up for the cause. So, Jesse, you got 3 minutes to talk about your daiquiri experience, starting from Nizao.
Right, Nizao. Thank you, Ian. Beautiful start. And thank you, everyone, for being here to come chat with us about a daiquiri. Some of you might be wondering why a guy who runs a gin bar that's famous for the largest collection of gin is here talking about daiquiris. But I love rum and I love daiquiris. And when I moved to New York in 2011, that was like when I really got introduced to you need to make a proper daiquiri. And I had to get indoctrinated in that. And so after the years that led me up to actually running a rum bar, an ode to Cuba, beautiful bar called Blacktail, rest in peace. We worked on the daiquiri on so many different variations, so many different types of sugar. Citrus is the citrus that we were getting out there. And even since then till now, my personal preference on a daiquiri has changed. And I really go super classic. And coming in after you, Ian, and I'm sure we're going to see some pretty amazing, cool, unique daiquiri variations. The way I like to make a daiquiri is give me that fresh lime juice. I also do 30 mils, which is 1 ounce to my peeps in North America, because I can bounce with the ounce, and I do the thrills with the mils these days because I'm back and forth with it. So I do 30 ml fresh lime juice. Just squeeze it in there. I just do a classic simple syrup. I've tried like a lot of different types of syrups, and they all work really. It's all gonna make a great drink, if you use agave or if you use a rich syrup or if you use some demerara or sugar. But I just kind of like that classic 1-to-1 simple syrup because it's the type of daiquiri that can really be made anywhere, and it's obviously quite simple to prepare for it. But really where it gets interesting for me is it's like the daiquiri, right, is the vehicle that can bring you rum in a beautiful and approachable way. So I like to actually do 4 different white rums in my daiquiri. I love all kinds of rums. I love aged rums as well. I personally prefer an unaged rum in my daiquiri. And what I like to start with as a base is I'll do 30 ml of Plantation 3-Star. So something just like a little bit richer, pretty clean, just like a workhorse type of tasty rum. I follow that with a little bit of 15 ml or a half an ounce of the Rum Nation pot still, white. So just to give it a little bit more kick, it's 57% ABV, and it's got a nice pop to it. It's got some of the funk. It's not like crazy funky, but I mean, you got to have some Jamaican rum in your daiquiri, in my personal opinion. After that, yeah, represent. After that, and I got to give a special shout out because, you know, it's just what I'm sipping on right now is I got a little Clairon Juice. So, I mean, to me, Clairon is one of the most beautiful representations of the category and the spirit of rum. You know, it's only run through the still once. It's, you know, everything's right there, estate, if you will, terroir. They're just juicing the cane. They're throwing in that old copper pot still. And the Juice has a really unique sugar cane in it. It has the crystalline sugar cane, which is only indigenous to that kind of higher plateau area in Haiti. And I got to go out there and had an amazing experience. Went to many of the distilleries there, but Juice was really special to me. I love the juice there. So that gives it like a nice kind of like that agricole, earthy, grassy funk. And then last, but certainly not least, as every daiquiri, in my opinion, should have, is a little bit of Wray and Nephew. So we gotta throw a splash of that 5 ml Wray and Nephew. So I got 2 Jamaican rums, I got a Haitian rum. We got our Panama blend with the Plantation 3-star, and to me, that just makes a perfect daiquiri. 30 ml citrus, lime juice, 20 ml just 1-to-1 simple syrup sugar, 60 ml 2 ounces of that white rum blend. You get the funk, you get the grass, you get the high notes, you get the mid, and it's just a beautiful thing. And I haven't met many daiquiris that I don't like. I'm a pretty easy drinker when I go to different bars, and I've had them at all the amazing rum bars. Martin Cate's beautiful place. I've had daiquiris there. Juan Coronado, you've made me some daiquiris, or your Daisy Day, something. I know that one you like. But yeah, I mean, that's to me is just like, that's always what I want, and I'm happy to make someone a daiquiri however they like it. But give me just that clean citrus, that touch of sugar, and then like let's let the rums talk.
Excellent. So when I come out to Atlas in Singapore, forget all those thousands of gins you got. I'm getting a daiquiri. Yeah, man.
That's right, baby. I got all those rums too.
Excellent. Right, so let's move on. So that was daiquiri all the way from Singapore, but we want a different perspective. So we got someone that always looks elegant. I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's in Puerto Rico, he's in Miami, or he's in New York. But anytime I see Juan Coronado, he's just elegant. He always has like a great daiquiri story. So Juan, do you want to tell us about your daiquiri experience? And I'm going to give you 3 minutes from now. I think I gave Jesse a little bit longer because he's late, but you're getting 3 minutes. I'm going to kick you off as soon as you get past the 3 minutes. Go!
All right, guys, everybody. Hi, I hope you guys are all doing well. And thank you very much for the opportunity to connect with all of you, because at the end of the day, you guys are my family, and I do appreciate hearing from you, seeing you. So this is amazing. The daiquiri, in a nutshell, the daiquiri, there's no secrets. It's my favorite cocktail. It's actually the cocktail that I owe my career to. The first cocktail I ever tried. I remember in the 80s, there was a truck in the Dominican Republic called El Daiquiri. And there were 3 guys, one squeezing limes, the other one shaking, and the other one taking the money from people. The line was a monstrous line. And I was like, what is this all about? I made the line and like, okay, I'll take a daiquiri. I remember when I put my lips on that cocktail, I was like, this is it. And so on, I moved to New York, and of course, you know, I was called into a bar one day. Okay, you're gonna be behind the bar. I can do that. I can take ladies' phone numbers and chat to people all day. And somebody ordered a weird cocktail, and I didn't know how to make it, but I was like, wait, I know how to make a cocktail, El Daiquiri. I'll be right back. And I rolled on some lemons and made the cocktail, and the guy was like, yeah. From then on, he called me the Daiquiri guy, and I guess that still follows me. But yeah, guys, the Daiquiri is that sublime, yet amazing, incredible, simple, perfect marriage between rum, lime, and sugar. And my Daiquiri is a variation of it. I like to, since we travel a lot, you know, in this line of the job that we do, I like to go to every city, every country, every town, and try their honey. Honey for me is something that is amazing. It's a gift from the gods. So my daiquiri has cucumber wheels, 3, honey syrup, 1.5 ounces of Bacardi Superior, half an ounce of Bacardi Ocho. Shake the hell out of it, and with the lime juice, you have a silver lining daiquiri. That's how I call it. That's it. How are my 3 minutes going?
No, man, you still got a minute to go, man. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, all right,
Tell us,
continue. Yeah.
Tell us where's the best place to have a daiquiri in the world.
Good. So the daiquiri, at the end of the day, is that measurement that I use to hire bartenders and hire people on my teams. I skip all the questions like where you work, who do you know. I don't want to know all that. You don't want to get to know you slowly. I just go straight, make me a daiquiri. And then from the way I see them putting passion and love into the cocktail, like, yes, this is a person that I want on my team, or maybe not, maybe we can polish it a little bit more. But the daiquiri is what tells me where you've been, how are you doing, and where you're going to be in life. It's that cocktail that describes somebody's career, you know? There's only one way of making a daiquiri, and that is perfect. The perfect way. Yes, it's true.
I like that. You got 10 seconds. Any last thing you want to say before I cut you off?
Well, yeah, guys, the Daiquiri National Day is going to be coming soon. I don't know where we're going to be, but cheers to all of you. Remember, celebrate that beautiful cocktail.
That's it. I cut you off. But yeah, celebrate a beautiful cocktail. Cheers. Cheers to a great daiquiri. Right. So he didn't tell me where he was. What city was he in? Anyone know where he was? Was he in like Florida, Miami, New York?
New York.
Oh, sorry, it's in New York. So that means I can't go to New York. I need to go somewhere else. Let's go to, in fact, since we said what's called Miami, let's go down to the south. Let's go down to the warmth. Let's go to someone who goes to Cuba more than bloody Castro did. He's always there. Every time I look up who lives in Cuba, I'm like, what the hell? Is he never in his bar? And I know he's not in his bar because I went to his bar about 6 months ago, and he wasn't there. So I snuck in, had a daiquiri or 4, and it was amazing, but he wasn't there. But apparently the best bartender that makes a daiquiri in his bar was actually making me a cocktail. But that means Julio employs great staff. So Julio, tell us, give us your daiquiri experience. Tell us why the daiquiri is the greatest cocktail in the world. What is experience to you? And you have 3 minutes to tell us from now.
Yeah, for me, daiquiri is like martini. It's the king of cocktail because it's simplicity. You can make it with just 3 ingredients. And as a Cuban, for me, is the cocktail because I'm Cuban, born and raised. I've been 14 years in the States, but daiquiri is always define me as a bartender, as a cantinero, define me everywhere I go is daiquiri. In Cuba, it's huge. In Floridita, the number 4, and everywhere, you know, like a classic daiquiri. I've been going to Cuba for the last 7 years with a lot of bartenders mostly from US. Some of you like David and Colin have been with me in Santiago de Cuba in Daiquiri Beach, finding and doing some research about the original daiquiri. The way I make the daiquiri is the classic way. The way we make it in Cuba with sugar, with white sugar, not with simple. We don't have, as you know, we don't use simple syrup in Cuba. We use always white granulated sugar is the way we make it. I want to stick to the classic way. Every daiquiri is good, you know. Yeah, that one. And you can, it's valid, you know, rum or different kind of rum, a rum blend, any kind of sweeteners and a citrus. Everything is valid. But I like to stick to the classic, and that's why I use sugar, lime juice, and Bacardi. Bacardi Superior. You can use any other good rum as well. I like with Clement. I like with all the rums. It's, you know, a lot of white good rum, but I want to stick to the classic. It's represent my roots, the original Cuban daiquiri with Bacardi. And what's the measurement? Okay, I use half tablespoon of white sugar, then three quarter of an ounce of lime juice. It's like 22 ml, right? And then I stir a little bit the shaker, and I add 2 ounces or 60 ml of white rum. I like white rum in my daiquiri, so I use Bacardi here in La Trova, but you can use any other combination. Like some people prefer like a 3 different style of rum in their mix, like one Spanish style, one agricole, and one other probably a French style or Bambacourt. I don't know. So I like any combination, but yeah, I prefer Bacardi the original way, and that's it. Shaken up, and we have the daiquiri. Daiquiri is for me, you know, the cocktail who I represent everywhere I go, and thanks God, the last 10 years or 8 years in United States and all around the world, the daiquiri have gained a lot of popularity. because all the bartenders, because everybody loved the daiquiri, and mostly because our tales of the
5. So I cut him off because he reached 3 minutes. I was gonna let him go, but you know who knows, like Salvatore, he'll go on and on and on and on and on. Man, chat's a lot of sense, but sometimes you just want him to just make me a cocktail. I just want to drink. And because his bar is such a great bar, I'm thirsty for a daiquiri. So I'm gonna put you on to someone who thinks they're in Cuba because they've just worked out how to use Zoom and who've just augmented their background to make them feel like in Cuba. And this is the maestro, Salvatore Calabrese. He's living in London at the moment, but this guy loves Cuba, loves daiquiris, loves a lot of old shit as well because he's old. But anyway, Salvatore, you have about 3 minutes to talk about your daiquiri coming from, let me unmute you. Are you there? Oh, are you there, Salvatore? Can we hear you?
I'm here. I think I'm here.
Oh, you're there, yeah, okay. I just was first time I've heard Salvatore quiet.
No.
Yeah, you're ready. We're ready for you now. Go.
I can't see myself, so if I'm going, I'm going. Okay.
No, we can see you. We can all see you.
Face, guys. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone keeps safe. Well, like you say, you know, yes, my experience with Cuba is incredible. My very first time I was in Cuba was in 1997, and I fell in love with that. I fell in love with Cuba, with the Cuban people, but also I fell in love with what the Cuban people represent in the art of mixology and hospitality. The drinks they make, they were incredible. And I am, just like Julio, I am how can I say, a classic person. I love my daiquiri only in one way. Bacardi rum, for me, is a must, okay, because the way it was created. Sugar and fresh lime juice. Now I'm going to tell you how strange and crazy I am. The first time I went to Cuba, I discovered the style of sugar that they use. And since then, in every of my bar that I do daiquiri, we use a Cuban sugar, right? That's the most important thing. I think the Cuban sugar is one of the main ingredients into what makes a very successful daiquiri. Then the second thing is obviously how you shake. Julio, first thing he did, he put 1 teaspoon of sugar, I put 2 teaspoons of sugar. But I don't stir the sugar into the daiquiri. But what I do, I use a 2 teaspoons of white sugar or Cuban sugar. I use a 60 milliliter of Bacardi, white Bacardi or Carta Blanca, and then a 30 milliliter of lime juice, freshly squeezed lime juice. And I try to always to pick up the lime which are the tightest. The more tight the skin is, the sweeter the lime juice is. So then the next thing I do, I just put immediately ice inside. I'm not stirring the sugar inside because now I've got 2 teaspoons of sugar. I immediately shake it, and I shake it quite hard and vigorously. And the sugar, what it does, it amalgamates with the liquid and the lime and creates a bond. That's why the Cuban sugar is so important. That means it doesn't dissolve very quickly, but it creates that kind of a culture, that kind of a structure of the daiquiri. And that's what I do. But then I'm doing something quite crazy that none of you could ever do. I recreate the original daiquiri with the original ingredient when it was created. I've done the world oldest daiquiri by using a Bacardi rum from the 1900s. And if you want to come to my bar at the Donovan bar here, I still have some old Bacardi rum from the 1905. That's here, you can see it very quickly. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, Christ, you can't see it. Anyhow, I have a daiquiri because I am extraordinarily fond of the daiquiri that I still sell an original daiquiri done with an original Bacardi of the 1900s. So you can see how crazy I am, but 8, trust me.
7,
6. Don't you dare cut me off, you plonker. There you go.
Mute. It's gone. So there you go. If you want the oldest daiquiri in the world and you want to be paying $4,500 US for a cocktail. Donovan Bar, one of the best bars in the world. Brown's Hotel, London. Salvatore, best host in the world. He'll be there making you a daiquiri and telling you how you should shake a proper drink.